God, I love bosses. They have the best music, they have the best enemy design, they have the biggest spectacle, and they are the culmination of everything you learned. Incredible. I've always wanted to rank bosses, and with God of War done, I figured it'd be a great time to start on that. You might be asking why I'm doing Zelda 1 instead of the series I just finished or the other games in the series, and the answer is simple. 1. I got 6 months to play through 17 of the longest games ever, and I gotta get started on it. 2. God of War 1 only has 3 bosses, less than this game, that came out 19 years before it. And 3. By all means, compare these two in a fair, objective way. Done. This poor piece of shit. Okay, let it be said that it is very impressive for a game that's almost 4 decades old to have 7 unique bosses with their own respective kill conditions on a console with less processing power than a toaster. However, all this thing does is walk around in a pattern. You leave a bomb in front of it, and it blows up. That's it. Now there is a question of how the hell you figure out how to do that, and the answer is by reading the guide, because if you don't use one for this game, you're a psychopath. You blow a whistle and beat the shit out of him, and by that I mean hit him twice. You don't even need a guide to tell you that. The old man tells you that this thing hates sound and you get a flute in this dungeon. It's a dragon that breathes fire. That's about it. Alright, look, here's the thing. This is the first boss. It's supposed to be simple. Plus, I got like every piece of gear that's possible to get before fighting it, and it still took more hits than this thing. Which is like the 6th boss of the game, so comparisons. It probably would have been way more of a challenge if I came in here with just my basic shit, but considering the game actually rewards your exploration with a much easier boss, that's really impressive for a game like this. Especially when Nintendo's other big first boss is this. So you know, comparisons. Okay, so the way this one works is it has 4 heads. Each head takes 2 hits to take out, and it gets faster with every head gone. Plus it shoots fireballs at you, so it could really fuck you up if you're not careful. Again, unironically, really smart boss design even today. Unfortunately for it, I have a guide and know how to do this. A for effort though. The first of many fights with the weird pigman to come. Pretty much all he does is turn invisible and constantly shoot fire at you, so you know, he's a total asshole. What you gotta do is find where he is and beat the shit out of him until he turns brown so you can shoot him. Nintendo, what the fuck? Long story short, he's fine, but the invisibility is a giant pain in the ass since the only way to tell his location is via the fire that's currently being launched at your face. He probably would have been number 1 if it weren't for that. Seriously though, between the brown thing and this dungeon, I have some serious questions for Miyamoto. Real talk, probably the only boss in this game that isn't a complete cakewalk and doesn't spend 80% of the goddamn fight invisible. All you gotta do is swing your sword at its body, or preferably its heads to win. The problem is, it's a large lad and will kick your ass with fireballs from its severed heads. So again, I give it props for clever game design. It basically has a built-in second phase, except you can't just cheese it by blowing it up as easily. It makes for a challenging but interesting fight that could actually last a good couple minutes, especially with the multi-headed forms. This right here is about as close to an actual full-on boss that this game ever got, and it is by far my number 1. And yeah, that's all the bosses in the OG Zelda. Honestly, with half of them being funny meme bosses, I'm impressed. These are arguably the first real bosses in gaming, and over half of them are fairly decent. Hell, with some more health and attacks, their concepts would work way better. This was a really fun way to start talking about the franchise, and I'm excited to finally play through these. Zelda 2 bosses suck, they are the fucking worst, just awful, terrible, look at this shit. That was a boss.